Okay, YouTubers, this is Joe from ArtAlienTV. Another quick game of interplanetary ice spy going on here, back on Mars, back in Gale Crater, back with the Mars Science Laboratory, otherwise known as the Curiosity Rover, and we're looking at Sol 1450. And here's the page. I'll have a link to this, but actually, to find and see the anomalies in more of a realistic scale and get some idea of where they are and what size they are, I increasingly use the Gigapan. So credit to Neville Thompson for this, and the area we're looking at is just here, okay? And you have this very strange long structure here with what looks like a hand or some kind of weird appendage sticking out of it. Now, I have absolutely no idea what this is. I'm not saying it's necessarily something intelligent. It looks like it might be a lever, a gear stick or some kind of lever of some sort. It has a mechanical appearance to it. And just to the left of it is this thing. And don't laugh, this thing here, okay? It looks like some kind of fossilized sea creature of some sort. Now, it looks quite rude, I do agree. So, you know, try and keep the comments reasonably civilized if you can. But it basically looks like a kind of phallus or some kind of worm-like creature. And this is as it comes. I haven't done anything to this. It's got a mouth and an eye. And when I saw this, I thought that looks kind of familiar. It looks a bit like some sea creatures we have down here on Earth. So I did a little bit of fishing around on Google Images, and I came up with this. Now this is called a blob-fish. Okay? There's a good image of it here. Incredibly ugly looking fish that has basically got a really big face and a big mouth, and almost a sort of really almost human-like look to it. Very odd indeed. This is a bottom-feeding fish that you won't find. I'm not sure whether they're Atlantic or Pacific Ocean, but they're basically from Earth and they're really ugly. And that's what it reminded me of, okay? There's also all sorts of different types of sea worms and huge, great big ugly creatures that live in the oceans as well. I don't think it's one of them. This thing is only probably a few inches tall, what we're seeing, and it doesn't really bear any resemblance to any of these that I've looked up at all, which you kind of would expect if you were looking at an alien planet, okay? A lot of people are saying these images are taken on Earth. I don't think they are, because a lot of the things we're finding don't look like Earth species whatsoever. They do have similarities, of course, but they're not from Earth. And this is a good example of that. This thing is literally probably only 2 or 3 inches tall, possibly a bit less even. And there's a lot of stuff in this Sol, and it's well worth looking at. There are tons and tons of weird rocks here. Some of them look like animals, some of them don't. I mean, this may just be a case of that, where it's just a rock that looks like something. But when I show you the enhancements, which I've done here, it becomes a little more clear. Okay, that's a raw clip. There I've enhanced it, and you can see it has an eye and a mouth and a head and a long sort of body neck type structure here. Now this may be just the very top of a creature, some kind of snake or worm that's buried. Don't know. There's something rather odd in front of it as well. Don't really know what it is, but most of these are probably just rocks. Here's the enhancement, and actually getting that close doesn't help. It doesn't get any clearer when you get in too close. It's better to look at it a bit further back, like here. I'll put these all in at the end anyway. You can have a proper look then. And it's got a mouth and an eye and a head. What else can I say? It's rather rude looking, I know, I do appreciate that. I'm sure you'll have fun with that in the comments. I'll leave that to you. Okay. As long as you're not too rude, then I will leave your comments up as usual, okay? And this thing, as for this thing here, I mean, what the hell is this supposed to be? A long arm-like structure here with different layers to it, different sort of layers to this long structure, and what looks like a lever on the end of it. Now, is that intelligently made? Here's the enhancement. All I've done here is increase the contrast. That's all I've done. And you can see this kind of finger-like structure sticking out. It looks a bit like a lever. And it's kind of attached to this lighter part here, almost as if it would move. If you went up to it, it would like move backwards and forwards, perhaps. Don't know. Absolutely no idea what it is. But it looks very, very strange, and a lot stranger than most of the rocks in this area. There are lots of crazy fragments in this particular soil, and I'm not saying all of these things are necessarily intelligently designed or creatures, but some of them really do look like they are. And here they are together. And there's that dude there, the little worm dude, Mr. Blobby. I don't know what I would call him. Sort of a blob-fish type, encrusted kind of fossil of some sort. I mean, this area probably was underwater, and when the water dried out, a lot of things just may have got very frozen and freeze-dried, as I've been saying for many years now. So maybe this is an example of that, and it's an encrusted creature that was once alive and poking it out of the mud. And when the cataclysm came and dried everything out, it could have freeze-dried and then just stayed there. It may have all been covered in sand, and the sand may have been blown away and uncovering these things. So we don't really know. So there we have it. I mean, that's pretty much it. I'm not going to go on forever about it because I'll put these clips in at the end anyway. In fact, it's clearer to see it from that sort of distance. When you zoom in, it doesn't get any much clearer than that, okay? Mouth, eye, head, body. What can I say? Is it a rock? Possibly. Is it a fossil? Possibly. Don't rule anything out when it comes to Mars images, as I said before, because one day our very survival may depend on it. Thank you for watching.